Hello everyone, in this video we are going to understand about the germination of pollen grains. In previous 2-3 lectures I have already discussed about the structure of pollen grains and the structure of ovule, in which now it's time for the germination, how the pollen grains start to germinate inside. First of all, the pollen grains germinate only if it falls on the stigma of the same plant species. For example, if you take the pollen grains of the rose plant, it should fall on the stigma of the rose plant only. If it will fall on the other plant species, then the pollen grains will disintegrate or disappeared. Now the second point says that the pollen grains on falling on the stigma is stimulated to germinate due to the secretion of sugar by the stigma. Basically, the pollen grains contain some sugar particles and these are secreted by the stigma of the female flower. Third point says that though a point in the axine, a pollen tube grows out of the pollen grains. Basically, we have already seen in the diagram of a pollen grains, structure of a pollen grains, in which the tip of the pollen grains start to enlarge itself, and in that tube there are basically two cells. Basically, the first one is the generative nucleus and the second one is the tube nucleus. This generative nucleus though divides it into the two sperm nuclei. One generative nucleus, it will divide into two sperm nuclei. So the other tube nuclei basically is for the direction of the growth of this tube nucleus. Now later on it will disintegrate or disappear as it does not have any other necessary function for the fertilization process or germination process. Now the topic is about the triple fusion. Basically, the triple fusion says that if two polar nuclei fuses to form secondary nucleus and one sperm nuclei unite with the secondary nucleus, we need to understand that there are two polar nuclei at the center of the embryo sac. Basically, these two are polar nuclei and they reunite first. They reunite in the second process. These two polar nuclei then reunite with the one sperm nuclei to form what? To form the endospermic cells. So there are three steps. The first one is the reunite of the polar nuclei, and the second step it's unite with the sperm cell. So there are triple fusion basically. Now the third one, or we can say the third topic, is about the double fertilization. Basically, double fertilization occurs when the one sperm cells or sperm nucleus fuses with the egg cells of the female part. Basically, we have already seen in the generative nucleus there are two sperm nuclei. The first sperm nuclei will fuse with the egg cell and the other sperm nuclei will fuse with the two polar nuclei together. So here in two ways the double fertilization occurs. So we can say that this process is called by the double fertilization. Now after this, the ovule become the seed and the ovary will form it into the fruit. So all the other parts of the flower will get disappeared or fall off. So in the next video we will understand that what will happens with the other parts of the flower. So till then, thanks for watching this video.